just so everyone is aware, and I'll say it again in just a minute, but I am now recording the second half of this video, or this class. So if you want to have your camera off, you definitely can. Okay. Okay. Thought we had a few more people, but that's okay. I would love to know. All right. So I would love to know your ultimate thought. All right. You can make it a people should if you want. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, everything's okay. I thought I clicked out of our whole meet and I got nervous. Okay, so you can do a people should, or if there's any realization you would rather speak it than put it into the chat, but I either need somebody saying something or it needs to go into the chat, one from every person, all right? So something you realized a people should would be great because you're headed that way anyway. So what do you guys think? We had one person choose. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Who is it?
It's Kaysen.
Kaysen, are you in a classroom?
I am in a classroom.
Whose classroom are you in?
It's like this thing. It's kind of like a study group that I go to, and there's a teacher here, so she can help me. Like if I need help with math or something.
I'm super jealous. I want to be in a classroom. Okay, sorry. What do you want to say, Kaysen?
So, the article that we read was hate crimes have increased for the third year straight, but it was posted in 2018, so it is not current to all this stuff that's been happening now. I think kind of a realization I had that can apply to right now is that people have so much to be angry about, whether it's the virus or like, oh my gosh, all the politics. And I think that maybe people are expressing their angers in it's so easy for them to be like, yeah, well, it's this racist fault, like, and it's so easy to just be racist by, oh, this is all happening because blah blah blah, it's their fault, and then that can cause a lot of racism, and it can even start out they don't think they're being racist at all, and I think it's just the root of all this stuff is just anger, and like everyone just needs to be less mad.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I'm going to ask you to jump on your mute your mic there, Kaysen, just because of the background noise. I think you already did. I find that interesting too, because so much of modern oppression of groups of people comes from the need to find blame, right? Or to find a scapegoat, right? I think you guys know this word scapegoat. Okay. I mean, it's quite literally how the Holocaust was able to happen. People were in terrible, times. The people who were in terrible times were given someone to blame. And then that's how that snowballed into the avalanche of absolute terror. So
since there was previously, and it was like further helped, against Jews, since there was Jewish people, since there was like previous anti-Semitic sentiment that existed prior to that.
Yes. Right. And so it made it more simple to make that a possibility. And we even had here in North County, we had a teen attack a rabbi just a couple weeks ago, just walking down the street, 14 years old. And it's hard because I think so often we think it's over somewhere else, right? But then to hear some of the things that are happening here, and maybe Kaysen, maybe some of that's right. Maybe people are frustrated. Maybe people are angry. They're hearing a lot of hateful speech. And it might make it easier for them to believe, unfortunately. And it's not fair and it's not nearly a comparison, but I tell my own kids, like, look, when you're upset, when your emotions are high, that's when I need your brain working overtime, right? Not to have a gut reaction, not to have a gut response, because it so often is not what your heart and your brain think or want to do. So this is the ultimate time to take a step back from any emotions, because we are all heightened completely. Not that we're all doing hate crimes, but you know what I'm saying. What else did you discover, or what else are you thinking about? I see you, Lacey, reaching for that. People should find resources and abilities to support people with disabilities because their disabilities shouldn't define them. Yeah, and I think even a simple shift, because we used to say, like, I don't know. Sometimes we name like a blind person, or we name the disability. We name the person with their disability, but instead, like instead of a deaf person, a person with hearing problem. Like the focus becomes the disability instead of the person. If we could think about the person, maybe we'll work harder to find the resources. Maybe we'll work harder to find the support when we think about its people. But so often we think about a disability, we just talk about the disability itself. How was it looking at an infographic versus reading an article? Did it better or worse?
I feel like it just got more to the point. I mean, they're just both different experiences, but yeah, the infographic definitely like made you realize, whoa, that's crazy.
Right, lots of information, right? Almost to where you're overwhelmed by it.
I think it also like helps us visualize it better than just like sitting down and reading a whole bunch of things.
It's harder for your mind to wander. Am I right, Josh?
Yeah.
It's harder to get
like
back
a
to
story
like having all the
embedded in
information
the
in one
article.
spot.
Right. You jump from one point to one point and you're like, whoa, I'm getting information, as opposed to something that's very narrative.
Yeah.
It's also visually appealing, right? It's keeping your eye on it. Can I mention I'm deaf on my left side and my friends legit forget. This is an amazing way to have to read this. This is so good. I'm deaf on my left side and my friends legit forget every week, which I find comforting in a sort of sense. Yeah, I think that's right. It's about you as a person, not you as a person who on the left side. Connor, were you born that way, or was it an injury of some kind?
Well, I had a ear infection thing, and my doctors were kind of cracked. So, like, my eardrum is just kind of irreparable at this point.
Yeah.
So I still kind of hear out of my left side, but like I can hear, like, there's no filter, I guess.
Yeah.
I hear everything in that direction, which is very difficult.
Yeah. I always turn with this ear when I'm struggling to focus, and somebody at our school, one of the ASL teachers asked if I always turn this way, and I said yes, and she's like, you are having hearing problems. And I was like, oh my gosh, so yeah, I can't completely relate, but I can relate a little bit, and that was an interesting moment for me. I do worry about you guys with your headphones, I have to say. Just saying. I know, such a mom. I'm so sorry, but still. All right.
It is like a fair concern.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're getting sound that comes directly into your ears is a really good chance to diffuse by bouncing around. So.
Does anyone have something else? I know we had other groups that were looking at. We saw that we had hate crimes. We had 2 that were dealing with health benefits for people with disabilities. We had one group tackle the visibility of transgender people. Anybody else have anything else with the people should, or any realizations they've had? Okay. Are we ready to move on? All right. Then I'm going to present for a second. We were at number 3. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all have something going on. I don't know, we all have something going on.
Disability is also like a very blanketed.
I'm so sorry. Connor, I have to tell you, and I know you've said this before, and I agree with you. You do have an issue with your audio. And so that's why I'm constantly trying to get there. But I am having trouble hearing you, and I'm sorry about that. If there's something that you want to say, can you throw it into the tab, or pardon me, the chat? Sorry, dude. I know that feeling. Yeah, I agree. I also have to say, I don't know how much I really like the term disabilities. It's just something that everybody has something else to deal with. I don't think it makes us unable of, of course, I am unable to see. I get that, but I get that they need to do it for the ability to change laws, really. It could change from, right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here we go. We're going to jump, okay? Like I said, I'm going to split you into 2 groups. So, well, really, you're going to split yourself into 2 groups. Can somebody tell me, can you see my screen? Because it says it's kind of loading, but yes, Kason, really? Okay, great. All right, cool. We've got 15 minutes. You're doing great. I have lessened your work for the week. Here we go. Can you see my slides? Because according to me, it says loading. Okay.
The screen is black right now.
Okay, good. That's what I was.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I was asking. Thank you. All right, so thank you for that. All right, here's what we're gonna do. I know some of you are like, I know how to embed quotes. Awesome. I'm super proud. Okay. If you are like, I can do a drop-in, no problem. You give me a quote, I can do a drop-in. I can do a dialogue tag. I can do an embedded quote. I know what those 3 mean, and I know how to do them and do them well. Then here's what I would like you to do. You'll view an infographic, okay? You'll take one of those pieces of information, and you will turn it into 3 things. 1, a drop-in. 2, a dialogue tag. 3, an embedded quote, okay? If you're ready to do that, you can go to that link. Okay, it is case sensitive. So you can either type it in or you can go to the student materials. Okay, but it is case sensitive, capital E, capital F. You can fill out that form and jump to your independent work. Okay, say it again. If you know what a drop-in is, a dialogue tag, an embedded quote is, and you can do all 3, go to an infographic, find me a piece of information, fill out that form, and do it as a drop-in, do it as a dialogue tag, do it as an embedded quote. If so, you can jump to your independent work. Here's what your independent work will look like. It's a little different today or this week. I'm trying to cut it down for you a little, okay? So you know that once you see this, you need to copy the rest of the slides and move it over to your us versus hate stuff. So you have your week 1 stuff there, your week 2 stuff there, your week 3. Yes, you can unsubmit it if you have submitted it. All right. Okay. So here's what we'll do. I'm getting rid of your left and right annotations. In my brain, there are only a couple students who are not showing me that they know how to select the information that the author left them and how to connect that information with whatever they're thinking. All right. So I've gotten rid of left and right annotations. We'll see how that goes. Okay. You will look at an infographic. You'll complete an outline for it, sort of. I've lessened that as well. And then you'll do an introduction, body paragraph, topic, sentences, and evidence. All right. So here's what it'll look like. You'll choose one of the infographics. Choose a different one, please. One that you didn't look at with your group. Okay. Here's your infographic. You'll put the title there at the top. You'll give me a people should. Please give me something a little bit more than people should treat others with respect. You already knew that. Something new that you think. All right. If you have something more specific than people, schools, educators, government, whatever, put that there. Okay. You'll come up with your template choice. You'll brainstorm and you'll come up with your body paragraph topics. You know how to do that. Okay. You've done it many times. You do not have to do anything else here. That's why it's black. I've blacked it out. You don't have to do it. Instead of putting it into a table, I'm trying to make it look more like a blank document, like you would have to write on essay. All right. You get a blank document, you start writing. Okay. I'm trying to mimic that because I know that sometimes is overwhelming. I want you to get used to the idea that you know how to do an introduction, that you know how to do an essay. So instead of putting that information here where it's black, on the next slide, you'll do an introduction. You'll turn that one topic from here, right? That one topic. You'll turn it into a topic sentence and go straight into embedded evidence. You'll do a topic sentence straight into embedded evidence. You'll do a topic sentence straight into embedded evidence. Do you have any questions? Sorry. What
So is there a separate slide for just topic sentence to embedded evidence?
You're going to do, sorry, can you repeat your question?
So in that slide, it just looks like all we're doing is writing the topic sentence. Is there another slide where we are going to write the topic sentence and the embedded evidence?
This is that slide.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so it'll end up looking like the top half or like 50% of an essay. You'll like tab in and start writing an introduction. You'll get to your thesis. When you're ready to write your topic sentence, you could do it right here. You can even delete that portion and you'll type a topic sentence, and you'll also go into your evidence. So you'll have probably 2 or 3 sentences for each of these body paragraphs. No analysis, no conclusion, only the skills that we've actually practiced. I hope this is clear. Is it clear? Introduction.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. You'll do another infographic and you'll do it again. So second infographic, people should make your plan and do your writing. Okay. That's what we've got. For the introduction, no, you've learned introduction, Micah, so you're going to do an actual introduction. Here, it's just the thesis statement. Here, you're going to write an introduction. But I've taken away the template, okay? I've taken away the table so that I want to see, can you write an introduction? Like, just write an introduction. Yeah, no problem. Okay, but if you need that information, you can go back to your materials from the previous weeks and take a look at what an introduction really needs. Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, so this week, infographic, outline sort of, and then a slide where you're typing. Infographic, outline sort of, a slide where you're typing, all right? And then your embedded quotes form, just so I can see where you're able to make that happen. Okay? All right, guys. You've got 10 minutes. I'm going to go into embedded quotes. If you already know how to do embedded quotes, you can jump. You can jump to that form here. bit.ly embedding evidence form. All right? Okay, so I'm going to let you go. Oh.
For where we submit and where we're doing all our work, we can unsubmit that first week of October work that we turned in. Even though it's going to say like missing on Google Classroom, we can just, okay.
I keep changing the date, Kason. I didn't last week, that was my bad. But I'm going to change the date again, so it'll be this Sunday.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, guys. So I'm going to jump into embedded quotes instruction. If you already know how, go ahead and complete that form. You can start on your English work. All right? Just stay in class until it's time. Here we go. All right. There are 3 types of quotes. Okay? One is a drop-in. We don't want to drop in. It's when you use a sentence, a quote as a sentence all its own. You just plop it in. You just drop it in. Right? So I like ice cream is my wording. And then there's a quote with a period. That's a drop in. You just put it in there. Okay? We don't want that. A dialogue tag you probably learned in about 3rd grade. Okay? It means that you've tagged a quote with who said it, right? So Scout says it. Kason yells it. Connor calls out, right? Jesus cries out. Whatever the quote is comes after that. Okay? It's very elementary. Okay? It works. You can use it, but I'm ready for you to move on from it. All right? What I really want you to do is embed, weave, okay? Your words with a little bit of their words. Your words with a little bit of their words. Just the parts that you really want, and that you think are really important. Okay. You'll notice there's not an example here for number 3. It's because it's going to take a little bit more to show you. Okay. So here we go. If you notice here, okay, it has a long quote, and it's from Maya Angelou. Okay. It has a long quote, period. And then the student's words. That's a drop in. We don't want that. Okay. If you do Angelou writes and you add a quote, I'm going to consider that like a C plus B minus. Okay. We're ready to move on from that. Okay. So instead, what we want to do is take just the portions we really want from the quote and weave it into our own sentence. Okay. If you can.
That makes so much more sense.
Well, extra credit, Luke. I'm so glad. Okay. We only want the little pieces. Okay. The golden nuggets, just the parts that are actually super important, and you weave it in. Okay. So if you look at this third one, that's green, good. Okay. It has even though, and then just a little bit of the quote. Then it goes into my words, and then just a little bit of the quote. We're going to call that an A. We're going to call that collegiate, like college-like, very professional. Okay. So just the snippets that you really want, just those little golden pieces of the quote. We're going to weave it in. We're going to mix it in to our sentence. If you're not sure if you've done it correctly, if you delete all of the punctuation, the quote marks, the brackets, the commas, if you delete all of that and it makes sense, you have done it correctly. Okay. You'll notice I changed the quote a little bit in this one, and you're allowed to do that, but there are rules. All right. You can change the quote a little bit. You do it by using brackets. See over here at the bottom, it should say opens. I changed it to opening, and I used brackets to do it. Okay. Brackets are over there on your keyboard next to the P. Okay. Those are called brackets. All right. Here are the rules. Number 1, and everybody right now seems to be breaking the rules. Not you. I mean, like the world. Okay. You may not change the meaning of a quote. You can't change what someone intended to say. That's not allowed. Okay. That's like illegal. You cannot do that. Okay. Whatever they were trying to say, whatever they actually said, that's the message that needs to come through. The only time you can change a quote is to add more clarity, to make it more specific so that people can understand the original meaning. Okay. So let's say one of the worst words you can put in a quote really is the word it. So a lot of times you'll see that word replaced with a more specific word, the bracket, whatever it really is. Okay. So the subject, or I don't like it. Well, I don't like math. Okay. Or I gave it to my child at Christmas. I gave the candy cane to my child at Christmas. Okay. So yeah, whatever you're going to replace goes with a bracket. You can do it to make it more specific, like in letter A, or letter C. So instead of saying his or him, you could put the person's name. Okay. You can also do it for grammar, like in the example that we had before, which it said opens, and we changed it because it didn't make sense. The grammar didn't make sense in the sentence we were writing. We changed it to opening. So you can do that. Okay, that's when you can change it with the brackets. All right. So here's an example that's not Maya Angelou. Okay, you've got Harry Potter. First one, we just drop the whole sentence in. That's a drop in. Okay. A dialogue tag, it says she yells, and then it says what she yells. And we just tagged her with it. But if we take pieces of it, this one here, number 3, is like a solid B. It doesn't have a dialogue tag, but it's not like weaving a lot. All right. So if you could do one piece of the quote in the beginning or middle of a sentence and one piece of the quote at the end of the sentence, I'm considering that an A, collegiate. Okay. Excellent job. All right. Okay. Normally we practice and we have like 10 of them, but that's a 2-hour block period. Okay. This is where you'll start your skills. Okay. Your skills practice, and it'll walk you through it. Okay. If you need the examples, they are here for you. Okay. And it shows you the rules. What questions can I answer for you? Hey, Luke, just curious, what made sense? The weaving?
Yeah, because people like throughout, English were just like up until now telling us, oh, embed the quote, and that's all they told us. Like they
Right.
didn't tell us the
Yeah.
methodology of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
And
been
this is
finding-
exactly what they want us to do, so it's a lot better.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, a lot of times we say things like "don't use is," and then they don't tell you how to fix it, or, make it active voice, and you're like, okay, but I don't understand. I think I understand it, but I never knew what brackets were. Yeah, so now you know. Yep, those are brackets. You replace it, so you don't have opens bracket opening. You replace it with a word that's more.
Yeah, like if there's a pronoun that in the text that you're citing has prior context, you just use the brackets for that.
Yes. Yep. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, if you want to stick around and knock out your work, I am going to be here till at least noon. Okay. And then wouldn't it be nice? Because I think you would be close to done if you hung out. You can go get food. You can go do whatever you need to do. All right. But I'll be here. So if you want me to look at it, I'd be happy to look at it. Okay. All right. That's all I've got for you guys today. I'm going to stop recording. Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you guys. I'll be here. Stick around. Knock out your homework. Okay. If you are behind, you had an I want you to stay with Unit 2. Stay with Unit 2. If you have extra time, then go back. Okay. But stay with Unit 2.
Thank you.
It's okay. Thank you. Bye, guys. You're welcome to come back afterwards if you want. Okay. All right, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Miss Thompson.
Yeah, hang on one second. Let me stop. It hasn't stopped recording yet, so unless you are okay with it being recorded. Hang on. Stop recording. I tell you. Hang on. I see you.